I'm Gracia Espinosa. Welcome to a new episode of the Red Couch podcast. Today, we are diving into a topic affecting thousands of international students in Canada, the National Cap. This measure, which limits the number of study permits per year, announced by Immigration Minister Mark Miller in January, is temporary and will be in effect for the next 2 years. I will interview the two third-year students in the fashion design program at Fanshawe College, Jessica Perera from Sri Lanka and Thao Nguyen from Vietnam. Let's start by understanding how you felt when you first heard about the National Cap on international students. Did it change any of your plans immediately?
It definitely made me more aware of what I need to do in the next couple of years, and I just have to plan myself better, regardless of what happens, and to have a backup plan as to what I need to do with my life, especially because you're already here and it's a huge change that you need to get used to. It definitely adds to the stress, but you just gotta plan better and hope for the best, I guess.
Yeah, it feels scary to me because everything now is very familiar to me, and then I don't think like I can imagine how my life could be when I come back, you know. But it's not very bad because I have the idea of what I should plan my life a little bit more specifically, and then have a backup plan for myself too.
So, were you planning to stay in Canada after your program, pursue further studies, or seek employment?
Um, I definitely do plan to stay in Canada, and I do want to finish my education, do a degree, and definitely start up a career in fashion design because that's my dream. Um, and yeah, I think I will be here for a while.
Me too, because I think, I hope after my graduation, I can find a decent job and then maybe move to another city, because, fashion industry is very competitive, and I think we need a bigger market. And then, yeah, I hope to live my life in Canada.
So you don't both don't conceive to returning to your home countries after the graduation, but are there concerns about the job market here in Canada? Because as a students, still students, I don't know if you found a part-time job or are you working on campus?
So I did have a co-op in the summer, and it was so difficult to find a job in the fashion industry. But I was able to find volunteering jobs, which doesn't pay, which is not good. In that sense, definitely in an employment standpoint, it's not the best idea, especially in London right now. Um, so what I would want to do is to study a little bit more, so get better qualifications, and then I would decide if I would stay in Canada or migrate to somewhere else which has better opportunities. But as a student standpoint, currently fashion design in Fanshawe is doing a really great job. We learn so much. So for right now, I think it's good. But as a job, or like finding a job, being an international student, it's definitely not easy. Definitely not easy.
Honestly, I'm on the same boat with you because before I got an on-campus job, it's very hard to find a job outside. And then recently, I got another job outside, but it's from my friend who referred that job for me. So I I feel like it's very hard for me right now to just apply by myself. Yeah.
So, do you know of fellow students who have already given up on staying because of these new regulations? And what are the main reasons, or what do you think could be the main reasons to give up?
Um, it's difficult. it's very difficult to be a student, find a job, and manage education and work and finances at the same time. And unless you have support from friends and family, it's you can't do that. And which is a reason why most people would give up, is because they don't have that background support. And it's understandable that they give up, because it's so difficult to manage education, finances, having a job, and living a whole new life here in Canada, because you got to adapt to everything. And I completely understand why someone would give up. It looks like it is a great opportunity. I'm not saying it's not, but it's also a lot of work. It takes a toll on you. If you are not made for it, it's not easy at all.
Um, well, it refers me to the first time that I came here. Everything was so hard. I feel like as an international student, you have to be aware of the law, the regulations, like more than the domestic student, because you are kind of vulnerable in a whole new place, a whole new world. You have to get adapt with the cultures, the people, the environment, the weather, everything. And yeah, but if you can make it through, then like I just want to say never give up, because there's a lot of time that I really want to give up, but I don't know. I feel so grateful that I have my friends and family who can support me when I was so down. But yeah.
Mhm. Do you feel these new measures are fair, or do you think maybe Canada could lose talented graduates who could contribute to its economy?
I think Canada's economy is international students definitely help a lot, because we pay so much more money than a domestic student would. And it having the cap on international students, it's definitely going to affect the economy. So I guess they have to think about it. Whoever is ruling, I guess they have to think about it. Um, is it fair? I don't know. I wouldn't say so, because people come to Canada for better opportunities, and it's not for free. People are willing to pay for it, and it's it's like it's like when you go to a shop and buy something, you pay for it and you can do it. So having the opportunity to come here and study, it's not that something that comes for free. So I don't understand why they look at it as such a bad thing. Maybe I completely understand if they don't want international students to come to Canada and then never go back. It's understandable. But then making it so difficult for students to come here and pursue their education does not make sense to me.
I feel like as an international student, we have to pay like roughly threefold than the domestic one. And um, I think that's kind of fair, because they have to for me to be in my country and know about Fanshawe, they have to do a lot of marketing. Like they invest a lot of money to marketing so that the international student can know about Fanshawe. So somehow I understand that. But to make it harder, more complicated in the papers for students to come here and to find a job or to stay here after their graduation doesn't make sense to me, because you know we just come here and then contribute our strength, our youth, our talent to Canada. So why not, right?
Could colleges like Fanshawe or universities do more to help international students navigate these chains?
I don't know about other colleges, but I know that Fanshawe does so many things to help international students navigate their way through the postgraduate work permit, how it is like when they come here to do taxes and everything. They do so many workshops to help us navigate that, and I really, really appreciate it. Because when you first come here, I've never done taxes before in Sri Lanka. I was underage, so I didn't have to do taxes. But when you come here and doing taxes for the first time, I was able to get it done in school, and they did everything for me. Stuff like that. I think Fanshawe is very helpful for international students. They do definitely help us navigate it, make it easier, and there's so many things that the college offers. Like the Leap Junction, it helps you start up your own business. They give you money, and they actually navigate you through the process of building your own business and stuff like that. There's so many things that Fanshawe does that really helps international students, and I really appreciate it.
For me, Fanshawe gives me a lot of like a huge opportunity to reach out the global industry. I mean, in fashion industry, um, with the staff and their professors' guidance, I did a lot of like projects with Fanshawe, and you know they give me the best services I think I could ever have in my life, like school life. I mean, um, my like they supported me with my visa, with my study permit extension, with my papers to go to the UK. Like I got an exchange program last semester and they did the paper for me. And then they also helped me with a field trip to Paris. Like everything that I need for like to go abroad or to do with the government, Fanshawe helped me a lot. And I really appreciate for that.
If you could speak directly to policymakers or the Canadian public, what would you want them to know about your experience and hopes for the future?
Okay. Being in Canada is a great opportunity, but it also comes with its baggage. It's a lot of work. It's a huge commitment. So I guess I just want to say that being an international student is not easy, but we appreciate the opportunity and we're just trying to make the best of it. Yeah, and I think it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine.
To me, I hope that we can have more scholarship for international students because we come here not just to finish school and have a job, but we want to come here to do something, to become something, to pursue our dreams, and we're really serious with our work. So a lot of people think like they assume that international students are rich because they have money that they come here, right? But they forgot about the currency exchange, like the rates. Like let's say maybe they can be rich but in their country, but when they come to Canada they're not rich anymore. So they need the support, they need more funds or bursary to support the international student to pursue their dream, to let them feel safe and ease, to contribute their mindset, their talent to the country. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you so much, Thao, for this interview. I really appreciate your sharing.
Thank you so much for having us.
Your
Thank you so
thoughts and comments about this issue in Canada. Now it's the turn of Celia Saldano from Spain, who graduated from the Public Relations and Corporate Communication Postgraduate Certificate Program. So, Celia, did this announcement affect your job search of permanent residency plans?
Yeah, so every time there's a new decision about the immigration laws and regulations, I think I feel a little bit more anxious because, of course, I'm still an international student, and everything that they're changing is gonna affect me somehow. Like maybe not right now or at this moment, but eventually it will affect me in other facts or fields of my life. So, yeah, everything that they're doing right now so fast and quick is just kind of like annoying a little bit, and also it makes me feel so frustrated about what's gonna affect me the most.
I don't know if you are you considering returning home or exploring other pathways to stay in?
I gotta say that since I came here, my first options were staying as far as possible from home because I just want to use this opportunity to travel and explore other countries. At first, I wanted to stay in Canada as long as possible, but it will always depend on job opportunities, different regulations, and the changes that they're making. Because there's so much uncertainty now for all of us. So I don't want to go back home so far because that's like the last option that I have. I will always have that option. So I want to take advantage of the opportunities that I have right now. But worst case scenario, if Canada is no longer available somehow, I will obviously look for another country.
Related to the Canadian labor market, have you felt discouraged or considered alternatives due to the labor market outlook?
I feel discouraged every single time I think about the labor market, honestly, because I'm so sure about my background, my skills, and my skills in general. But every time that you apply, no, you don't get an answer, or every time that you're just trying to get a part-time while being at school, and it's so frustrating not knowing why they don't want you or what's missing in your resume or CV, despite all the opportunities and all the options that we have at school. It's kind of frustrating because you want to do your best. You just want to work. You just want to improve your skills, your previous knowledge, but they don't let you do it because they don't hire you or they just don't answer your phone calls or emails. So it's kind of discouraging, of course, but at the same time, it's like you cannot just give up. You just need to keep trying.
You have just finished your program, so it was difficult to find a job meanwhile you were a student, and now that you got your certificate, the situation is worse.
So while I was studying, I looked for a basic part-time, just to pay my bills and all these kind of things. It was hard, but I think it was hard because as an international student, my schedule at school was pretty busy and complicated, meaning that I had morning classes, evening classes, afternoon classes, so every single day was different. But during the second term, it was easier because there was more consistency on the schedule and my placement. It was hard, but I got to say that thanks to my background, I had the opportunity to get a job in something not that professional, like not related to my field, but enough to pay my bills and help me with some stuff that I have. And now that I'm done with my program and I just looking for something more professional related to my field, it's hard, but the reason why it's hard is because there's so much competition, I think. You need to stick, as an international student, you need to stay in one place probably because moving is not as easy as maybe if you were domestic and you had your family support or a family abroad the country and all that. But there's a very competitive market out there, and there's obviously people with a lot of years of experience. And for me, I'm still in my 20s, so I don't have that much experience as other people.
You, after this program, you have your postgraduate work permit, so you can be here one more year. I don't know if college and university could do more to help international students or.
Here at Fanshawe, they're pretty helpful because we have the career center, and I've been very lucky with most of my professors when it comes about helping with your resume, cover letters, and helping with that. But something that I think is very important, and I still kind of struggling, is to have a good network. I have heard so many times that some students or some people get the jobs because they've been referred, and of course, if you know more professors for more years, or just if you've been here for a couple more years, you will have a wider network than if you've been here just for a year and you need to. A lot of people are going to contact their professors, so it's not going to be just one student in the class asking for help. Probably will be 10 of them. So it's kind of hard to do some networking sometimes, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes networking is not the one that you want to get. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get a specific network in my field, but not everyone that I'm going to meet during my year is going to be from that field. Or maybe they are not going to be able to help me because I'm just focused on something different.
And what is the problem here in London? There are not enough jobs, or perhaps there are not jobs for everybody?
There are... I have seen a couple I have seen several job offers in my field, I think, here in London. But my problem, or what I think is a problem, is that they might get so many applications that they can give you a feedback. And when you get like hundreds of applications for a job, they would probably choose people who is referred as well. They will probably choose people who has more experience, or they will just stick to people who has previously worked in the company, or people that are domestic students or Canadian first. Because I have seen a couple times some applications in which they were asking me, "Are you a Canadian citizen or do you have a permanent residence visa?" It's clear that that's a filter. So right away you say no, then I think you're not eligible for that one.
Mm-hmm. And you consider that it's a discrimination for people who have just arrived, or in general, if they ask you about if you are a woman, if you are a man, I don't know if you thought
Asking,
about that.
I think it's not the same if they ask you, "Are you women?" or "Do you consider what gender are you? What gender did you see yourself as, or do you consider yourself?" I think that's different because that's probably to avoid discrimination. When they specifically ask you, "Are you a Canadian citizen?" What's that for? Like, how is that gonna improve the situation or the company? How's that gonna give a benefit to the company? Because my skills are not because I'm Canadian or not. My skills are because I have gained them during my previous years, and because I have learned from other people, and I have been taking other programs. So being or not Canadian, that's had nothing to do with my skills right now.
I don't know if you would like to share a final thought about this, or to give me an opinion about this situation, because all the measures that the Canadian government wants to do will be for around 2 years.
So from a point of view, this is a very personal opinion, I think. I love traveling, and I don't mind changing countries or changing my residence every once in a while. So my advice or my reflection right now is I will keep trying. I will give it another option, and I will keep trying, looking for a job and applying to whatever the visa is coming next. But if it doesn't work, maybe it wasn't meant to be here. And I'm not gonna say, "Oh, I want it so bad that I need to do everything as much as possible." There's so many countries in the world. Maybe your next step or your next way is on the States, or maybe in South America, or maybe even in Europe back home. So I'm just sticking to all the opportunities that I have, and I don't have any closed choice right now.
Okay, thank you so much, Celia. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Red Couch podcast. You can catch up with every episode on our website or wherever you get your podcasts. Watch full episodes on our YouTube channel and subscribe to our newsletter to keep up with Fanshawe. For the Interrobank, I'm Gracia Espinosa.